Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna share with you 3 crockpot recipes today, and the first one is super easy. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. This is called Crockpot hash brown casserole with smoked sausage. So I have all of my ingredients ready. I've got my crockpot sitting here. So what I have is 1 link of smoked sausage, Hillshire Farm is my favorite, some diced onion, a bag of shredded hash brown potatoes, some cream of chicken soup, and cheddar cheese. So if you hear those sounds in the background, that is Henry. He is talking away. He is almost 9. Yes, he's smiling. I'll have to show you him in a minute. He's almost 9 months old. Can you all believe that? Oh, I'm coming. So I've got my crock pot ready. I'm gonna spray it with some Pam. Now I'm gonna add in my hash brown potatoes. Now, when I looked at the reviews of this recipe, a lot of people said that they wish they had added more sausage, like double the sausage, but I'm fine with this amount, I think. So I'm just gonna go with what the recipe says. Next, we're gonna add in the smoked sausage and diced onion, 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Also, the recipe has directions on how to make your own homemade cream of chicken soup, but I definitely don't have time for that with 3 little kids, so I'm just using the can. But she said on there that if you choose to use the can, then you need to add 2 cups of liquid. So I forgot to say that earlier. So I'm gonna do 1 can of, or 1 cup, I guess I'll just measure it in my measuring cup. 1 cup of milk and maybe a cup of chicken stock. Okay, I measured 1 cup of water in here and poured it in the can, and it's like exactly 1 can, so whatever. So there's my water, and I'm gonna get some stock base to add in here. Now I'm gonna measure, I think I'm gonna do like half a cup of milk. I'm a little bit worried that this is a lot of liquid, so that's actually about 2/3 cup. So we'll see how this works. I'm also gonna go ahead and add in some salt and pepper to taste. And about 1½ cups of cheese. Now I'll just stir it all around. Now these hash browns are still frozen. I literally took them out like 5 minutes before I started this, but I'm sure it's fine. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pop a lid on and cook it on high for about 3 hours. Yeah. All right, so it's been about 3 hours, 3½ hours maybe, and I periodically came in and just stirred this up because I didn't want anything to be like stuck at the bottom or anything. And it smells so good, and I'm not gonna lie, I already tasted it. It's delicious. It's super creamy, and the amount of liquid I put in was perfect. So I did 1 cup of chicken stock and like 2/3 cup of milk, so that was a perfect combination. Tonight I'm gonna serve it with some broccoli, so let me make my plate. All right, so I think this is a winner, and I think my kids are gonna like it too, and I hope you give this a try. All right, our next recipe is the Pioneer Woman's broccoli cheese soup. I have made this before about a year ago, and I did share it with you all, but this is one of our absolute favorite soups, so I'm gonna share it again. Henry is crawling around making some noises, so if you hear that, that's what it is. So I'm gonna start off by spraying my crock pot. Now I'm adding 1 pound of frozen broccoli. This is half of a large onion and some shredded carrot. Next we have 2 cans of cream of celery, 5 cups of chicken stock, next we're going to add some salt and pepper. We're also going to add in about 1/4 teaspoon of seasoned salt and about 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Okay, and that's all I have to do for now. I'm gonna stir this up, cover it up, and turn it on high for about 4 hours, and then we will move on to the next step. Okay, my soup has been cooking on high for about 4 hours, and I turned it off a few minutes ago just to cool it off slightly. Now I'm gonna take an immersion blender and just blend the soup up. You can do this as much or as little as you'd like. All right, that's good for me. There are still a few chunks in there. Okay, now it's time to add in some Velveeta cheese. Now, I did not realize these were a thing until several weeks ago. You can actually buy Velveeta now where it's like individually wrapped so that you don't waste it. That is so cool. So I have 2 left over from several weeks ago, and then I got a new one today. Now the recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of Velveeta, but I find that that's just too much for me, so I like to add just 1 pound. So I'm gonna go ahead and get 1 pound of this ready and cubed up, and then we'll add it in. Okay, now I'm gonna cover this back up and turn it back on high for a few minutes to let the cheese melt. And then we're also gonna add in some cheddar cheese in just a little bit. Okay, the Velveeta has melted nicely and it cooked on low for about 15 or 20 minutes. Now I'm gonna add in some cheddar cheese. And again, I'm gonna cover this up, turn it back on low for 5 minutes or so, and then it'll be time to eat. Okay, it is after dinner. We've already eaten, so this is what's left. And the sun is down now, so I had to turn on my light up here, so that's why the lighting is pretty bad, so sorry about that. But you can see how creamy and thick it got. This was so good. We eat ours with saltine crackers, and Katie Jane even had some, and she really liked it too. Hey y'all, our last recipe for today's video is a Crockpot loaded potato soup. So I'm gonna start off by spraying my Crockpot. Again, Henry is on the floor talking. Next, we're gonna add 4 cups of potatoes that have been peeled and sliced, and 1 diced onion. Next, we're gonna add in 4 cups of chicken stock. As always, I use my Better Than Bouillon base. Half a teaspoon of salt, and a half teaspoon of pepper. All right, that is all I have to do for now. I'm gonna cover this, cook this on high for about 4 hours, and then we will add in a few more things. All right, so my soup is still in the crock pot. It's been in there for about 3 hours and 45 minutes or so. I cooked up some bacon earlier. There it is. So I'm gonna put that on top when we serve it. And I got rid of most of the bacon fat, but I left a little bit in here, and then I added half a stick of butter, and it's all melted. It's also sizzling. Now I'm gonna add in a 1/4 cup of flour. And I'll just whisk this together until there are no longer any lumps of flour. Okay, all the lumps are gone. Now I'm adding in 1.5 cups of heavy cream. And now I'll just whisk that until it thickens a little bit more. And then I'm about to add in a 1/4 cup of sour cream too. All right, so I'm just gonna whisk this together until all of that sour cream has melted in there and it's thickened up just a little bit more. And then we will add this to the crock pot. Now I'm gonna cover this up, cook it on low for 30 minutes. Okay, the soup has been on low for about 30 minutes. It's thickened up quite a bit. Hello, can you say hey?
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
My nephew Yo is over here, but he just stepped away from the table. Can you say hey to everybody? Hi. So they're eating some grilled cheese sandwiches, chips, and fruit. And I think Yo wants to try some soup in a few minutes. So, all right, so that looks good for now. Now, the recipe doesn't say to do this, but I'm gonna just put a big handful of cheese right into the soup. And of course, we'll add some cheese like to our bowl of soup too. Excuse the crying in the background. Henry is not happy right now. He wants me. All right, so I'll give this a couple of minutes to melt, and then we will make us a bowl. Hi.
Hi.
Katie Jane, can you say hi?